All right, please know right up front. I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but it'll be just me sharing some all encompassing things I've just been thinking about, considering, feeling, etc. Hopefully, it doesn't come across too crazy. Now my heart pounds. It took me so long just to start recording because I feel like there's so many things I want to say and so many words I want to put together. I figure why not keep trying while there's still what we were taught to consider time, while there's still some of that left, I guess. So it may come out kind of wacky, but we'll see. So where to start? Oh, I was watching a video just a little bit ago by Jacob Israel talking about the comet and the dragon and the floods and the things and the names. Excuse me. It must have been close to 3 years now. I was saying 2.5 for a while because I really don't keep track of time anymore. It must be close to 3 years by now that everything started for me, in me, the whole change, the whole awakening, the whole alchemical transformation and reformation of me and my energy and what I was and the understanding and understanding of what I was and then what I wanted to try and what I had to kind of come back from and the whole relearning process and the whole anyway, I'll get back to it. But during all that time, during this last just few years, it's felt like to me, it's felt like a lifetime after lifetime has passed. And that's just from the inner growing that's taken place inside me. And then in the wisdom gained from an experience already lived, but getting it in such new, more profound and in-depth and all-encompassing ways, these lessons. It was like lifetimes of knowledge and study coming together into one picture to where everything made sense. I tried to describe it to my wife and to my son the other day in a way of at the beginning for me when this first happened at at such an age where I thought I was an absolute adult and knew things. It was all beliefs, but anyway, I tried to describe it as if standing looking at a huge wall of hieroglyphics and Sanskrit and symbols and alchemical different symbols and in different pictures and different things inscribed all on the same thing and then getting it. Seeing the picture for what it meant, seeing the whole thing and getting it and going, and then from that point, for me, getting such a clear picture of reality so quickly melted all my beliefs all at once. And I realized I had to relearn, pretty much reteach myself and find information in different places where it wasn't advertised openly, like such as YouTube videos that so many fine folk put out with so much good information that so needs to be seen, considered, and taken in and felt by others out there instead of this what's going on. Which leads me to that video and the comment coming in the few years of being out here when I got how it wasn't until I got here. This place in the woods in the state that I left from to join the Army, this place in the woods here in Michigan, in a whole different area of Michigan, where it was like a secluded place where I could come find peace and put the pieces back together, so to speak, and learn and grow and then learn nature, kind of become one with my nature, with nature. It was something, especially that first year of seeing the picture and then trying to relearn it at the same time, trying to convey what I had seen in the picture, but without really being able to transcribe and describe and dissect the individual characters into sentences, into coherent thoughts and points and feelings that made sense. Everything kept spewing out right from the picture that mind saw, with whatever words and logic mind could throw at it with the creativity at first. So everything came out so scattered, but it was a process. It was that process of spiritually growing and understanding and gaining wisdom, gaining what was already there and learning what was already there, what had been there all along. It had just been hidden under layers and layers of toxic programming and energetic toxicity in all ways, shapes, and forms and manners and such. But now, after all this time out here in the woods, and then later, months ago, when I found out, by then the picture nice and clear, the feeling nice and clear, by then, already writing something like that. I want to share at some point one of the poems I wrote where I decided to write reality together in such a way in a group of poems where I could explain the layers and the layers of reality energetically, so to speak. The dark side of it, the light side of it, how it should work, because it's all one. Because the yin and the yang is the yin yang, is the dark light, is the good evil, is energy. And then from that comes that initial spell of duality by splitting that. Well, once you get it all back tied together into one and realize that, get where this coming from. This coming from one, the create. Okay, so many things. Well, anyway, finding out we're about to have our first, we were to be expecting our first grandchild. I said, oh, wow. And so he came to me that this grandchild is going to be born on September 11th. It came to me months ago. I wrote down in a book, and I said I won't share what I wrote down until later. Of course, they already figured out what I'd. Just a couple of days ago, my wife mentioned that there's been talk because, the baby's about to be here, which lines up with so many things. To me, that makes me go, what? Yeah, where does this road lead? What is going on here? Who am I to see these things and feel these things when I'm just a normal, just like everyone else type of folk? I'm no different than anyone else. And then how is it that, to me, it should be, to me, it's everyone, if they were to look energetically at themselves from the inside, tied together with the out there. To me, I bet, but I'm not a betting man, that so many prophetic and all-encompassing things would tie together in their own experience that they would go, whoa, why does all this tie together for me like this right now? I'm convinced of it. Just because of these things I've been watching and preparing a place out in the woods, ending up in the woods, and now a child's coming, and then the experience I'd already had prior to all this with a comet, and now a comet is returning, and now this very real grandchild is about to be born into this reality that I can absolutely see for what it is. And I go, what is this? Does this comet and things have to do with maybe these children about to be born being fully connected in consciousness and reason and empathy and feeling, that they might be the ones that actually save this place? If we can only keep them from the dragon, so to speak, the system. That system to me that seems to be designed to snatch up the children, quickly toxify them, indoctrinate them, and suck their life energy away without ever letting them realize what they truly are and what they're a part of here in this life experience, just like what's been done to us. And is that it? Are these, so is that the road we're on? Because to me, all the parents should immediately pull their children out of these education systems, because I see how deep and dark it all is. From so many, there's so many different things. It's not just the information that's twisted and incorrect and inverted. It's how it's taught. It's the structure. It's the indoctrination of being locked away into these rooms and buildings to get used to a life of enslavement. It's so many, and then the whole time being toxified further with the food and the vaccines to cut them off, to keep them in that scattered mind state to where they can't connect. So what do we do? Where does this road lead? What is this? Because to me, I realized once I saw how broken everything was and how corrupt it was, the only choice for me, for us, it seemed to be, was to leave it behind, to walk away from it all as best as possible, and live in peace and harmony with nature, not causing harm, not getting involved in any kind of dispute or bickering or nonsense, but only to try and help with the truth that we found. Help with the truth of that there is an expansive consciousness available inside each of us, an expansive resonance of feeling and empathy in each of us that's there to be explored and worked on, and to share that information. Because to me, that truth of things, and the truth of natural law, cosmic law, the law of creation, God's law, do no harm, cause and effect, that we are all of the causes of all of these effects of harm or care. Is that what's coming? I wonder. I've said it before with the comment. Is that resonance of energy, of consciousness, going to be raised with that? So the spell is fully broken? I don't know. I don't know. But I also can't hardly conceptualize a future with the absolute entanglement of brokenness, material brokenness, and material concepts that have been taught that can't be broken from in the minds of those still enspelled by these unnatural thoughts and these unnatural repetitive behaviors and cycles of false normality. Strange, it's so strange. So let me share some more words about the trees, because so putting together all these different teachings and these different exoteric and esoteric ways, and the way language is used and layered and things, and then getting the energetic resonance of it all inside by building over without the words first, but energetically, but later then to put them to words. Let me read this, the trees, and then I'll go a little maybe simpler with it, actually. So I wrote that, of course I read this before, but I'll read it. The trees. The tree of knowledge, the sphere of spheres. You hear it hum between the ears. What is that from down the pole? The spine. The tree of life, where heart doth grow. Can you rightly feel what you are feeling, that your etheric branches are being? Study in detail your every part. Let love and care fill the heart. Up the pole the energy goes to tell the tree what the tree doth know. Below and above work this way, a karmic stage of life's grand play. For me, that's when I realized that the tree of knowledge, so to speak, that Eve ate from supposedly in the apple and the serpent and the snake and the dark and that was simply the mind and the consciousness, the brain, the logic, the creativity. This is the tree of knowledge. With those etheric sparks and branches, the dielectric sparks and branches resonating throughout, energetically down the spine, where the heart, the tree of life, is energetically doing the same thing, spiritually in these etheric branch tendril type of ways throughout the being, our being, and also in a very physical, material way as well at the same time. Because we're one and of the same, physical and spiritual, infinity inside of finite physicality is what I came to. So to me, it turned into, oh, the tree of knowledge, of course, is the logic, is the creativity that is locked in overall with reason, that has full control above the reptilian and the animal portion of the brain, the higher, that's all the way up to realize I have a different place, I have a different role in this physical world with this ability to look and understand the interrelationship of life. My reason has been corrupted. My creativity has been corrupted. Now, my reason knows that. My reason puts together a correct picture of life and the sameness in life. That's only been taught ridiculous divisions where logic repeats incorrect, immoral, moral, relativistic types of thoughts that says, no, it's okay to say that is separate from you, that is separate from you, that is less than you, that is something else. Hey, it was stopping those and the creative mind that would put pictures to those and make it look like it was okay with all the dark images. It would create. So that was the tree of knowledge, so to speak, for me coming into resonance. That hum between my ears that now was at the right frequency, so to speak, a higher frequency. Same thing in the heart. So while that's logic, creativity, and reason, the tree of knowledge, the tree of life inside, that's feeling, care, and empathy. When I realized the feeling was so cut off and that the care was so cut off because of the divisions this would create up here with its corrupt perception of reality, I wouldn't care about this, that, or the other when I should have. I didn't even care about myself. I was so cut off. Therefore, the empathy was gone. I couldn't relate energetically to the outside world in a correct and moral, empathetic way until I could. And that took correction of feeling and care and realizing there was so much more, which my wife taught me so many lessons on, thank you. And that allowed my empathy to then resonate at that higher frequency, especially when those resonances, so to speak, from here and here, mind and heart, tree of knowledge, tree of life, were in unison. Up and down the spine, those messages going throughout and then seeing and perceiving and then sharing and trying to help with no agenda but to help, because to me, sharing the truth is the only thing that'll fix this place. Which leads me back to, where does this road lead? That's what I was talking about. I was considering like the baby, the stories about like having a place prepared in the woods and the dragon coming in the flood. You know what I mean? Everything seems so crazy to me, this reality. And that maybe these children too, I said, might be the ones coming in with this fully locked in consciousness and empathy that maybe would save this place if we can save them from the system. So, yeah.
Are live.
Oh, yeah, it's live. Yeah. It's looking this way, though. That's why I wanted to share this live. Yeah. That's why I wanted to share it because, I mean, we talk about things here all the time, but the words don't get out there. And maybe just hearing some of these words, I figure, I'm like, yeah, I help somebody. And I feel like just me saying all these words in the way I'm tying together so many things as deeply as I can, going deep through and then out the other side, because I figure might as well while there's time left. And maybe there is indeed a combination of magic words because words are magic and have a lot of power. Look into the language you use every day. Then maybe there is a certain combination of words, if spoken out there and heard enough. Well, I don't know, cause some resonance or chime of frequency of truth to just go ringing, propagating throughout the ether, so to speak. I don't know. Can't hurt to try, I figure. How's she doing in there? I think tonight or tomorrow, I really do.
Let's see.
I thought that from the very start, for whatever reason. Hmm. It was so hard for me to start recording, and now, after saying all that, I'm not sure where I want to go with the yammer yammering. Or if, man, there were so many things earlier I was thinking about and considering and kind of wanting to say, yep, that's what kind of happened, I guess.
That's really like you said.
Yeah, I think I kind of beat up the tree stuff kind of a lot. But there was some, man, there was some more stuff. I can't remember. Hmm. These flies keep messing with me. Hmm. Oh, yeah, I was going to talk more about early on for me, really looking at the very real magic of this place and the magic of energy and really the alchemy of learning, relearning, and understanding the natural elements, just air, earth, fire, water. Then the magnetic dielectric, being able to picture and envision those fields of energy in everything over and over and over, making up this whole enclosed system we're in, whatever this is. It sure did allow such a connection between the reason and the empathy of kind of the tapestry of what I was perceiving and feeling, not only perceiving with my physical senses, but the energies of this, of me, and of all of this. There was so much I never considered for so long that I didn't know what was going on. Didn't know how I was using my own energy or how my energy, my own consciousness was so stunted. My own progression was so stunted. It should have never been like that for any of us. And that's the thing about breaking these cycles now, which has been done, I've seen not just in me, but in others around me. And that now another generation, so to speak, of life about to come into the world here. Just, I mean, here for me and my reality and my family, which I share with everyone else, and I'm sure so many others are having a child born around the same time somewhere in their family, maybe. So interesting how everything is in this. It's also so, to me, utterly impossible that so many that that so much darkness could have propagated and been built and perpetuated for I don't know how long. I guess I was talking about that the other night too. I have a I've had a feeling for a few days about that hurricane that, and I said it last night here, but here at home, but looking at that thing, if I lived anywhere near, maybe anywhere up and down the East Coast, I might think about if it was me, I would probably get my family. I would, and I would say, hey, it's time to pack up a few things, and we're gonna go camp out at a rest stop or something a couple states away. I'm not joking because that thing on top of what's happened throughout the whole year, and I mean, thing after thing, and so many things happening all at once. It almost seems like it's gonna be some catastrophic culmination of catastrophic events that have been taking place at higher and higher frequency throughout the year, especially. And they've been going on, but this year has been everywhere I look, weather-wise, geological, the seismic activity, the what might be created, what's not created, just oh boy. Oh boy. Like, that's what I mean. Where does this road lead? What are these times we're in? Are we about to see some total shutdown and collapse of everything? Because to me, it's really almost that's what's needed everywhere is for everyone just to shut down and stop what they're doing and calmly talk to each other wherever they are, and then calmly talk to everyone else around them and go, we have to do this all differently. We should have been this entire time. What better time than right now? Because a better time than right now would have been any time before now. Any moment whatsoever for however long back this history goes, I don't know, would have been a better time than right now because there's a lot of broken stuff and a lot of harm and a lot of people and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering happening. And none of it needs to be happening if everyone would just stop taking the actions they're taking right now, whatever those actions might be, and just wait. Just wait wherever you are. Don't push the button again. Don't continue listening to the nonsense. Whatever it is, just stop and consider and feel and know that things have to be fixed. They have to be looked at. They have to be considered because everything is set up so unnaturally twisted and broken that it will not right itself. A system of corruption cannot it cannot be expected to be able to right itself because it's only a series of different concepts made up by others that were never designed to go right, only left or wrong, or that left-hand path, that path of severity, which is what's been built for everyone to pick a path on that left-hand path, whether you realize it or not, and take a path of severity and suffering through this life. until you can hopefully see it. And if you can see it, hopefully you can speak on it and spread it and let folk know that they don't have to be on that path that's been built. We can all build we can all build another one right now because everything's already been built. The harmful stuff just needs to be shut down. I need a drink. So, that's why also to me things cannot be hopeless because I know there has to be so many others that are in all these positions that know all these things, that have access to all these resources, and likely have full communities set up and functioning that are fully at peace and not functioning on any of these dark systems in the way they're built here, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's likely plans in place to get that to be normal everywhere. The normal that should have been the whole time, the normal of nature itself, working within nature in a way not harmful and caring for nature because we have that ability. So we have that responsibility, that absolute responsibility on a karmic scale, cosmic scale, whatever scale you want to look at, to know that and feel that and act accordingly. Otherwise, we pay. We pay in suffering for ignoring nature and ignoring our nature and for causing harm. Doesn't matter if you're the one following the orders or giving the orders. Doesn't matter if you're the one that's doing neither, but you're just going along with the orders you're given, or you're just going on your day-to-day life, just supporting it or ignoring it. It all only perpetuates the same systems because the folk in the systems are the system, and the folk in the systems are the ones that need to stop right where they are and consider exactly what they're standing in the middle of right now. Really do. And see how it's all interconnected and intertwined with all the other systems, and that they're all playing the same game. Set up by someone or something, I don't know what. I know nothing of my nature, the nature I found inside me, my true nature, and the true nature I found of what a human being should be, really, what we are as more capable, spiritual, physical, mental, conscious, empathetic beings. I know that I don't know where I was going with that when I got off on that one. Well, I know we have that full responsibility because of all of what makes us up and what we are, to do things in a natural way and not cause harm. And it's easy enough to look at how any of the systems generate energy. Not any of the systems, but the systems that have everyone energy dependent right now so much. And you see how dark the whole thing is. It takes poisoning water. It takes sucking things like a vampire, fluids from the earth itself, and then burning it. It's all different unnatural systems of darkness in the use of nature and the natural elements. It's all twisted, man. It's all twisted. When everything's being magnetic dielectric, all energy is free, including us. That's why they make the fake electricity, the hybrid of the dielectric, and then charge you some fake money currency for the current that's falsely pumping through the lines in a way that is not in line with nature. It's a way to control, subvert, harm, just like the other frequencies, the way they're used and the way they're being put up everywhere at a exponentially increased rapid pace as they put in all these frequencies that not only can see you, can hear you, can microwave you, can kill you, can control you. I mean, You can also download movies fast. Go ahead, yep. Keep on downloading the dark programming of the dark sorcerers that portray this crap to get folk locked into this false 5 cents only reptilian animalistic way of looking and feeling life, and then run around like a bunch of the animals they create that didn't feed off each other, like vampires, in so many different energetic ways without even realize it's happened. I didn't realize it for that long. I went through a whole life of childhood, school, career before I realized any of it. Whoa. So what I mean, where does this road lead then? What is, and why is not the truth and the simpleness of the truth, once you can get it to see it's so simple, doesn't take all these different crazy routes of different crazy teachings to tie things together. It's just simple reason and simple empathy. It's the simple resonance of what we resonate with anyway, that we were just taught to ignore and not work on, not realize it's there, not make it stronger, so we can become stronger, so we can heal inside, so our physical bodies can heal, because now our physical bodies are now energetically tied together in a correct, moral, right way, in line with nature, natural law, and truth, and God as a part of this creation that God made, whoever or whatever or however God might be. That's why. So I don't talk about those kinds of things so much, because it's such an inside thing for each individual. It shouldn't be a label or something to be hoisted on others or used to lead others down this or that road. As I figure we all have our own spiritual road to walk, but that's an inside walk, so to speak. The point is not to be led, while totally being led the whole time, if that makes sense. And then once you see it, to walk on your own, to walk in conjunction with, next to walk with all the other life here, that hopefully when their hearts wake up to this, hopefully they do indeed become written into the book of life, when they can fully connect. Because there was deep, profound point for me to where I knew I had been written into the book of life, so to speak. Then later my writing followed. What I wrote from the most expanded point of my consciousness at the time, and my heart at the time, to use as whatever tool it might be used for teaching, for understanding, understanding, overstanding, but in words that were my combination organically. And for those words to be left behind, because it seems to me so many things have been built with nothing else but the words that others have left behind. Unfortunately, those words that others have left behind a lot of times have already been twisted when written. And if not, were twisted when interpreted and then spoken from a place of belief, not wisdom, not knowing. Seems like a big crazy paradox, this reality. Well, being very real and very clear and very well. Yeah, I don't know. I may be running out of things to. Of course, there'll be a million things as soon as I stop it. So there always is, it seems. Though I'm not crazy. Just have a kind of wide, expansive view of looking at and feeling things, I guess, nowadays. I guess, to put it simply. And I really do wonder what's coming next for all of us. Because looking back, so to speak, at so much bad and looking out, you know, with how it looks to be so bad, maybe it's not. I hope not, though I know it is. Maybe this is the time it all changes. Maybe this is the time all those, yeah, I won't go into all the generations and all these other things, but I look at all the stories and like I can feel it is what I'm saying. Like what so many folk are talking about out there, I feel you is what I'm saying. So I don't like to come across like I'm like I'm saying anybody that comes from a certain point or uses certain words that they're wrong or doing it wrong or ah I should have probably said that way a long time ago because likely those words might not be seen by some of them folk that may have seen some of my other words and maybe took what I was saying the wrong way. I hope not. I hope no one takes anything I say like that uh, personally or as some kind of attack because it's not. Because I know it's up to the individual to discern what they're taking in. And that a lot of times the individual that's given those words has already distilled it to such a level of wisdom to where that's how they communicate those terms. The, the issue I see is the receiving end of that. Is the folk that are on the receiving end of your words distilled in your wisdom from your heart and empathy and care. They might be misinterpreted because they were taught other interpretations. Is is kind of what I mean, and is why I try to be as careful as I can with the language that I use personally, because it's I see how hard it is not to be misconstrued out there, especially when the folk taking it in, they don't know you personally, they don't know where you're coming from, so. Yeah, water and coffee, still on that water and coffee. Bunch of clouds have moved in. Earlier today, the sky was so blue and so clear. I've seen it like that. It felt like for maybe weeks. There's been such heavy spray, constant, ridiculous. Whoa. But now a bunch of clouds have moved in, which actually kind of look like clouds, oddly enough. And I've heard very few planes. Though that could also have something to do with not just the comet, but the other bodies that I'm sure are right up there that are, yeah, those are thousands of miles away as opposed to millions. But you know what, whatever. That's just, don't take my word for it because I don't know. I really don't. I ain't been up there except for in planes and this and that flying around this place, different places. But during those times of flying around in planes from here to there, I had a much different perspective of the reality I was existing in. And it was pretty absolutely fractured and not coherent whatsoever, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. I do wonder what's going on. I really do. And it sure would be nice to get, I don't know, just a whole pile of truth. Oh, there's some spit came out. Hope you can see how I look like a savage over here. That's kind of funny to me because I started to really think of my past behavior as like I was saying that all the time that I was a total savage. Oh my God. Well, like for real in that case, I guess. Oh my God, like for real, because I was a savage. Oh, I mean, to me, even just the eating meat now for me, the energetics of that and the oh man, and the pain and the suffering and the death that caused that I was a part of. To me, just that alone was like I was an absolute savage. I could have been eating nothing but plants the whole time, which I do now have for a while, have for quite a while, and my health is absolutely amazing. Not just physical health, but my mental health, my spiritual health, all of it. But then you run into that problem of good luck trying to find some organic vegetable material nowadays because everything's so heavily genetically modified on them. Like, I mean, just like, I don't know, they've genetically modified us as well in the structure of our cells during the course of our life by feeding us this, that, and the other, having us drink or breathe this, that, or the other. That's what I mean. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on here. It's ridiculous. I also know I also know that by going fully natural and then the cannabis and like consuming it as an oil and tying in the consciousness and the heart energetically and really getting a clear understanding of oneself and control over one's thoughts and one's actions, that there's another genetic modification, it seems to me, takes place that I felt very real over the course of a couple of years of, yeah, you know what, call it whatever. Call it the reactivation of so-called junk DNA. There is no junk DNA, but call it that reactivation. Call it some energetic reactivation or activation and healing and regeneration on a physical and spiritual energetic level all at the same time. Could call it that. That's what I mean. That was some of the words I wanted to kind of throw at the out there because it is all that. It is that natural alchemy of natural evolution that we can do naturally within us for our own heart, our own mind, and in our own existence to exist within nature as a part of nature and part of, you know what I'm saying? I won't go into all that. But that's real. It's all real. And to that, and to that small world cosmic scale inside oneself, throughout oneself, tied together in a single point, went out there, yeah, and it's all energetically intertwined with all the energies out there. That's all the same. It is. It's that deep. And likely much, much deeper than I can possibly fathom. I would say I can fathom quite a lot nowadays. I really can. And I can feel quite a lot that goes along with that tapestry that I'm kind of fathoming with the reason that puts together whatever kind of picture that I don't go, you know. And these flies, man. Wonder if that has something to do with I won't go there. I'd be talking mean about the flies, wouldn't it, if I say something like that? Those are maybe some annoying energy that gets recycled back and has to live a life as a fly, so it's automatically annoying, and all it does is just come around, buzz around. You try to get in your experience no matter what, and can't just take the hint of, hey, just leave me alone. I used to know folk like that. I used to be one of those. I used to be one of those kind of folk that would be buzzing around, getting in other folks' experience when I wasn't invited. Yeah, that's something that I saw that I had to really correct within myself, and that's something that, well, that was embarrassing when I realized just, yeah, how I used to act was an actor. It turns out. So I mean, where does this road go? What happens when everyone stops acting? I bet a lot of good could happen real quick. I bet. But I'm not a betting man. That's the thing. That's why it's hard to conceptualize what's about to happen here. But I figure something's about to happen soon because it can't maintain in the state it's in because the state it's in is way too much deception and unnatural use of life and life energy and energy all around. Really? Oh, man. I don't even know where I was, but anyway, I was going to say, I was just about to wrap it up anyway, like I've been trying to do, but I was going to say, yeah, once everyone just stops, realize there's a new way, which isn't a new way, which is just a way of just doing things in nature, in line with nature and life and care and empathy and helping each other, not for any kind of want of any kind of currency, fake currency or this and that, just so everyone can like live without suffering. Yeah, everything's get great real quick. And that potential's there. Or maybe it's not. I don't know, whatever. But I'm pulling for it. So anyway, thanks for listening.